Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome! I'm Carrie, I'm a 29-year-old vegan living in Bristol, UK with my fiance, who is not vegan, but he does eat vegan at home with me. My channel is based all around budgeting as a vegan in the UK, what I cook, what I buy from the grocery store, and I hope you'll stick around. If you haven't watched these videos before, I will leave some links up above so you can see the rest of the videos in this £15 series. I have done a few supermarkets so far, and this week I am going to Sainsbury's. So the concept is I have £15 budget and I need to create breakfast, lunch and dinner for 7 days for one person with that budget, which is 21 meals, 21 vegan meals for £15. Now, I would say that I've got the easier supermarkets out the way first. So I've done Aldi and I've done Lidl and I've done Tesco's and Morrison's actually. Morrison's I thought was going to be hard and was actually okay. This week is Sainsbury's. I've got to admit that in creating my budget, I still haven't quite figured out with my shopping list everything that I'm making. I think what I'm going to be doing when I'm there is weighing things out. So they do have a lot of like loose options for fruit and veg, and I think I'm going to be making the most of that. The other thing to be aware of is I do not want to make these videos boring for you, so I am trying to do different meals each video. So this does make it a bit harder as we get to Sainsbury's because I'm trying to make different meals, and perhaps I could have made the same meals for the same budget that I've done in previous videos. So that is just a little disclaimer. If you would like to see me do a direct comparison of what things cost at different supermarkets, then please let me know. I'd be happy to do that. But this isn't directly comparing. It's just going in, can I do it for £15? So without further ado, I will go into the grocery haul and what I've made, and then I'll see you at the end. Welcome back to the £15 series. I have shopped at Sainsbury's today, as I've explained, and I have stayed within budget. So I have spent £14.97. So I will just go through what I got. I will say I went back a couple of times and like weighed things out, got rid of things, added things, and I did also have to speak to a staff member because there was a nectar price on the loose leeks which wasn't then coming up on the system, so she had to override it basically. There was a bit of back and forth and that sort of thing, but in reality it should have been very simple. I did a smart shop, so I have an app on my phone and then I can scan things as I go with my nectar card. And a nectar card, for those who don't know, is a loyalty scheme. It's not just for Sainsbury's, it's also for Argos and various other places, I think, that you can use nectar, but it's in lieu of their own supermarket rewards scheme, and you get points on how you shop, and you also get prices, nectar card prices, which are cheaper than the regular price. So I will just get straight into it. The first thing here are these loose mushrooms, and I weighed these out and I just kept adding until I had the amount that I wanted. So I added these at the very end and weighed out as many as I could afford, and that ended up being 35 pence worth. And then here I have got the Outpro single soya cream. This was £1.25. Sometimes this is on offer, so it's a bit of a shame that it wasn't today. The Oatly cream is the same amount and the same price, but I had a look at the protein content, and the protein in this one, I mean, it's only 2 grams, but that is double that of the Oatly, which was only 0.9 grams. So I went for the soya, even though the Oatly one is very nice as well. Next thing I got, if I move these mushrooms out of the way, you can see here the reduced tag on that is this Hovis Seed Sensations bread. It was £1.15 and it was reduced down all the way to 29p because it was best before today. But as most of you know, I keep my bread in the freezer anyway, so that does not bother me at all, and this will do me for my breakfast toasts. This is only a 400-gram bag, but because it's only for a week, that will do me absolutely fine. But obviously it does tend to be cheaper to buy an 800-gram bag. They did have some 800-gram bags there of not the Seed Sensations, it was a granary loaf, and that was 49p. So still a really good deal, but I didn't need that much, which is why I went for this smaller one. Okay, next are the leeks, which are the ones that gave me the trouble. It was basically on nectar price per kilo, and then the sticker with it weighed out was coming up as the correct nectar price, and then when you got to the till, it was scanning in as 10p more expensive. So that's when I had to speak to an assistant and get them to sort that out. But they did sort it out, and those came to 63 pence for these 2 leeks. Next is this tofu. This is the Sainsbury's Organic Super Firm tofu. This is a price match to Aldi, and Aldi don't actually do a 300-gram package, so it's a price match per 100 grams. This was £1.33. Next is this pasta sauce. I haven't tried the Sainsbury's one before, so I have no idea if it is tasty or not. The Morrison's one that I had on a previous challenge video was fine once you added your own sort of seasonings and stuff to it. So I assume this is going to be fine as well. And that was 45p for how many grams? 440 grams. Next, this peanut butter. This was only 99p, and it's Sainsbury's own. So Sainsbury's cheap brand, like their own supermarket cheapest cheap brand, is the Stamford Street Co. So that was what the pasta sauce was, and that's what this is as well. This was only 99p, so a very good price for peanut butter. It is crunchy. They only do the crunchy, which isn't my favourite, but obviously for 99p I'll make crunchy work. Next, I got this penne pasta. This was 41p, and that is the same price as pretty much any other supermarket with a like really basic pasta range. So again, this is an Aldi Lidl price match. Next were these British mini pears. These are again the Stamford Street Co. cheap brand, and it was 99p for these pears, and there are 6 in this bag, I believe. I will just make a note on, obviously I am trying to make these videos more exciting to watch, so I'm trying to have different things at each different shop. With fruit, bananas are the cheapest fruit. So it would have been cheaper for me to get bananas, but I think it's more interesting to see me eat other things as well. If you're a banana girly like me, or a banana guy, then always get the bananas. They're always going to be the cheapest fruit. But if you want to mix it up or that would get boring for you, then I'm just showing you other options. And 99p for 6 pears is very good, in fairness. But yeah, bananas would have been cheaper, but I don't want to just show bananas every single meal. I've said bananas way too many times now, so I will stop. Next, I have these British baby potatoes, a kilo of these, and these were on nectar price for 85p for a kilo, which is pretty good. Next, I got this stir-fry packet of veg. It was reduced down to 80 pence, so it was half price because it was best before today. And in here, there is bean sprouts, cabbage, edamame, let's see what else, broccoli, and onion. So I was drawn to this one out of other ones that were reduced because of the edamame, so it's got that higher protein content. It says that it serves 2, but I can definitely make this span across 4 meals by bulking it out, basically. So yeah, those, whenever these kind of packets go on offer, I more often than not get them because you get that variety of veg without having to pay separately for lots of different things. Because if I'd bought the cabbage and the bean sprouts and the onions, particularly the edamame separately, that would have just been so expensive. So this is definitely good to get a bit more variety in there. To go with that, I have these rice noodles. These were really, really reasonable. I haven't seen these before, and they were 81p for 4 nests of rice noodles, which is just so good. I do really like the Sainsbury's whole wheat noodles, where they come in 4 nests like these as well, and those were 98p, I believe, or no, 95p. So these were cheaper, so I went with these. I like rice noodles, so there's no reason why I can't have these. If you're not on as quite a tight as a budget than me this week, then I would recommend the whole wheat ones as well. But I'll let you know what I think of those. I haven't had them before. Next are these vegetarian chicken pieces. Linda McCartney is a bit silly because they name things vegetarian and then they've got the vegan approved logo. So don't be put off if you see something that says vegetarian on it. Just look for the vegan logo. All of Linda McCartney's vegan products have that vegan approved sign on it. And I think the only things that aren't vegan in Linda McCartney's range are ones that actually contain cow's milk cheese. So that is the mozzarella burgers, and I think there's like cheese and leek plats or something like that. And those are not vegan. They were on Nectar card down to £2 rather than £2.50. In the same vein of protein, I got this Plant Pioneers No Meat Mince. This is normally £1.86, but there was an offer on my Nectar card, and this was a My Nectar offer, so it wasn't for everyone. It was just something that I'd frequently purchased before, which is this. So it was actually only £1.53, and that is for 500 grams, I believe. Yeah, 500 grams, which is a really good price. I have got this puff pastry this week, and I got the lighter one just because the lighter and the regular were both the same price and they were both vegan. Didn't have an issue with getting the lighter one because it was exactly the same price. And then finally, my green veg for the week are these broccoli florets. This is how many grams? I want to say it's 900 grams. Okay, 900 grams of broccoli florets for £1.07. That cannot be beaten, I don't think. I think this is a price match to other places as well. Such a good price and loads in here. Way more than, I think it's like double than if you were just getting the broccoli crowns. And obviously then you've got loads of stem, which you can use in soups and stuff, but this is all florets. So for the purpose of this week, that's going to work much better for me. So that is everything I got this week. So these are what's going to be my breakfast this week. So I've just got the crunchy peanut butter on the seeded bread with a pear chopped up. And I just have to say as well, this is actually such a high protein breakfast for me. Each slice of bread has 3.3 grams of protein. It's a seeded bread and it's got those really important omega-3s in as well. And then the peanut butter has 4.9 grams per tablespoon. There's a tablespoon per slice. So that is actually 16 grams of protein, not including the pear. I don't know if the pear has any protein, maybe like a gram. But yeah, very impressed. And this should keep me full. So I definitely think in terms of brekkies, this is going to be a winner. For dinner, I'm just boiling these potatoes and then I'm going to air fry them in a bit. And I'm just putting some oil in the pan here to make the pie filling. So leeks are going in the pan there for the filling. You can see quite a few there. And then I'm taking these vegetarian chicken pieces, not using all of them, but I am using most of them. And then once they were cooked through, I then cut them down into smaller pieces as well. So I didn't keep them in whole pieces, just to make it go a little bit further. And then I'm adding some seasoning. So I add some garlic. I also added some onion powder and some pepper. And then I am going to be using this soya cream and just adding that to the mix as well. And I probably used 3/4 of this cream altogether. I started off with half and let it cook down a bit, as you can see, and then added a little bit more to get it that sort of wetter consistency, because it's also going to firm up when it's in the oven cooking as well, so you don't want to do too much. And then this is what it looks like in the pan, and just adding that pastry lid and adding some holes in there for it to breathe. Now the potatoes are boiled and I'm going to add them to the air fryer. This is what the pie looked like. It looked so delicious and it tasted delicious too. Let me tell you, really crispy lid there. And then just some broccoli on the side. So that took, I think, 4 minutes in the pan. And this is what it looked like. And it was amazing. Really loved this. Next, I am just going to be using the rest of those chicken pieces, and again, once they're heated through, I will also cut them down to a smaller size. Adding some seasonings in here, so this is garlic, and then I've also got some onion seasoning as well, and I do add some black pepper. I'm also using about half the mushrooms that I got chopped into really fine pieces and adding it to the pan here. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm making some sort of like chicken and mushroom creamy pastries with the remaining pastry that I didn't use from that pie dinner. So I am just going to stir it all up, and I'm going to add the remainder of the soya cream, which was about a quarter of the carton, and again give that a really good mix and add a few more seasonings as we go through. So some salt, and then I'm going to add some black pepper and some garlic granules again, and quite a few actually, and then just give that a really good mix. And this is what the mixture looks like when it's all done. And then next I'm going to spoon that into the pastry and then just put them all together and seal them. They're all different shapes. I just used the offcuts of what I'd used from the pie, so you can see I'm just making sure that's all sealed, but I also add some holes to let it breathe as well so it doesn't explode in the oven. This is how they've turned out, so they're nice and crispy and all sealed on either side. Just show you the bottom as well. Nice. So I think what I'm going to do is have like the two small ones together, and then maybe have that as like a snack, or maybe have one of those. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll let you know. The next meal I'm making is spaghetti bolognese or penne bolognese. So I have added the pasta to the water and then just adding some oil to a pan, and I've got the mince here. There's actually 6 portions of mince, it says in the bag, but I used it as 100 grams per portion. And then I just added the other half of the mushrooms that I'd bought to this pan as well with the oil, and mixed that all up and let it cook down. I then added a vegan oxo stock cube and some boiling water along with these seasonings, onion and garlic, the pasta sauce, and gave it a really good mix around. I made 3 portions this time, so one for me and my fiance and then one for the fridge. As you can see, it made loads, and then I did another batch of 2 to make the 5 portions up. And this is what it ended up looking like. It was really delicious and very simple, so a win. Now I just have some tofu that I've cubed and added some seasonings to, and that's going to go into the air fryer while I make the stir fry. So I'm adding some oil to a pan here. Now I'm just adding the stir fry mix to the pan. I also took some of the frozen broccoli we had and cut it up and added it to add bulk to make it last the full meals that I want to make with this. The rice noodles was super easy. Literally just add boiling water, simmer for 3 minutes, and then take it off the heat and they're done. So very quick, and they would make really good meal prep as well. Okay, so I'm just adding some soy sauce and some seasonings, so some garlic, and then I go in, a bit too much garlic, I go in with some chili flakes as well, which was really nice. And you can see here I've got a shot with that added broccoli, and then just what the noodles are looking like now that they're cooked. I made a sauce with the peanut butter. I added soy sauce, sesame oil, seasonings, so garlic, onion and chili flakes, and some water, and that made this lovely sauce. And then this is the final result. It was really, really nice. I would recommend it. So that is everything I cooked, bought and ate this week. My review of Sainsbury's is that it sounds cheaper because they've got loads of Aldi and little price matches, similar to Tesco's, but in reality, it's still quite a challenge. Did I have enough food this week? Technically, yes, I had enough calories, but a couple of the meals weren't as balanced as I would like. So having the pastries for lunch, for example, and not having like a side or that sort of thing isn't really how I would normally eat. And the final noodle dish didn't have any tofu with it. So I made 4 portions and 3 of those were with tofu and 1 wasn't. I did do that one as a lunch, so it was fine, but it's not as filling and it isn't as balanced. So I would say with the meals that I made, it probably isn't quite enough, because also I'm a 4'11" woman. I'm making myself full, but if you're a 6' man and you're trying the same meals as me this week, I think you would end up hungry. So I think that's just something to be aware of. They did have staples like chickpeas, kidney beans, all that sort of thing. So do I believe it's possible? Yes. And did I eat 21 meals within this budget? Also, yes. The meals that I chose might not have been the best ones, so that's just something to be aware of. I spent £14.97, so just within the budget, and I was pretty happy with that. I went at an evening to look for those reduced stickers, a good way to do things with a more traditional supermarket like Sainsbury's. The pie was so good. The pie was amazing. I'd really recommend you make that pie. It was delicious. And the Linda McCartney chicken pieces, like, beautiful. My fiance loved those. We will definitely be repurchasing them. Overall, not my most successful week, but I think it does go to show as well, you don't have to just eat beans and rice to make it work, because at the end of the day, I did manage it, and maybe if I'd swapped a few things around, it would have been better. Also, the rice noodles, I quite liked. My fiance wasn't a huge fan, like they were fine. So I would probably recommend spending 95p, so an extra 14p, and getting their whole wheat ones, because those are really, really tasty. So little tip from me there. That was probably the highest protein breakfast that I've had since trying this. So peanut butter and toast. If you have a seeded bread, you're getting your omega-3s and it's a bit higher in protein. Like, that is a really, really good. Cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We do still have a couple more supermarkets to go, so stay tuned. And I'm also doing a bit of filming at the moment, so I'm going to be on holiday in a couple of weeks. So I'm also filming some other videos so that I can cue them and still keep on this weekly schedule. So if you liked this video and you like this series, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you thought of the meals this week, and I will see you next time. Bye!